Hello and welcome to another edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector. Coming up, the NDFD reports a productive business year. Officials work to enhance the communication system in the health sector, and the Education Minister discusses the reason behind universal secondary education. Stay with us for details of these stories and others after the break.
Scary! Everything just shaking and making big creaky noises.
Earthquakes, big and small, take place in the Caribbean at least 10 times a year.
The dishes rattling and falling and breaking, then Vonnie started to scream.
All I could think to do was shout, "Get outside, get out!"
Earthquakes, hazards, take control, reduce your loss. If an earthquake hits, what can you do? Get down, get under an item of furniture like a table. Hold on and stay there until the quake passes. Find out lots more about earthquakes and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from your National Disaster Office and SEDERA.
The facts as they are, brought to you every day. Only on GIS Channel 7.
Thanks for staying with us. The National Development Foundation of Dominica Limited, the NDFD, has announced a business year stirring with productivity and remarkable success. The Board of Directors of the NDFD presented its 2012 report at its 31st Annual General Meeting held on Wednesday at their conference room. Speaking on behalf of Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit was Acting Prime Minister Honorable Ambrose George, who congratulated the board on its achievement. He proposed a few recommendations to further enhance the board's report at its subsequent AGM. Among these suggestions was the incorporation of more detail of the aid given to young entrepreneurs, as government places great emphasis on creating jobs for youth.
The resources made available to the foundation by government was intended, among other things, to provide some level of support to them, and I know that you have made loans available to a number of young persons. I wish to suggest, however, that in your next annual report, you include in your statistical digest a table showing loans disbursed to individuals and groups according to age. This would at least provide a clearer picture of how the foundation is reaching to the youth in meeting their business aspirations.
Cletus Joseph served as chairman of the AGM and delivered the executive director's report on behalf of former executive director Ronald Knight. In it, he described the year as eventful and filled with changes as the company continued to push forward in light of its mandate to fight poverty through capacity building and job creation. Joseph gave a positive account of the NDFD's finances for the past year. According to the report, the NDFD continues to improve fiscally with a growth in its asset base, liquidity, and a marked decrease in its negative general fund.
Our operations for the last year resulted in a surplus of $530,000, which is approximately $148,000 over that of 2011. So despite the challenges, the foundation was able to keep its head above the water. Interest income on loans was $1.3 million as compared to $1.1 million in 2011, and which is an increase of approximately 22.9%. And the major movements in the finances, in the income, was from the loan processing fees, which increased by $20,000. However, bad debts recovered showed a decrease of $49,000. And the new business support services unit brought in an additional $8,000 over that of the previous year.
Joseph also informed the audience that the foundation instituted a savings account which holds a year-end balance of $198,582, a major accomplishment for the foundation where cash flow has been a significant challenge. Chairman of the NDFD's Board of Directors, Oliver Henderson, stated that the company has overcome many challenges for the year 2012-2013.
Although the global economy continued its sluggish recovery, We at the NDFD managed to glide through 2012 with reasonable ease in maintaining our mandate. The global economic recovery proved harder to come by than originally anticipated, and this according to Dun and Bradstreet International Risk and Payment Review, DNB's Global Review 2012. A number of challenges stood in the path to more widespread global economic growth, including a protracted Eurozone crisis, and we all know we see it on TV. A slower than expected U.S. jobs and housing recovery, and economic sensitivity in emerging economies, as well as increased debt in small and underdeveloped economies like ours.
Henderson noted that as these global phenomena negatively impact economies worldwide, there has been a greater call for the services of the NDFD to stimulate the micro-business and small business sectors. This year, the NDFD presented its report under the theme, Striving to Promote and Support Entrepreneurial Excellence and Success. In other news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says the public support program continues to have a positive impact on the lives of hundreds of nationals. The Dominica leader told reporters last week that government will continue to support this program in the next financial year.
We don't discriminate against people on health issues. You know, I never ask anybody whether you support the Labour Party and based on that we help you. You come here for a health condition, my first order of business is to see whether we can help you. And we have got the monies out to the Treasury, out to the banks on weekends to help people seek medical attention. On weekends. That's what we do under the so-called Red Clinic. So the Red Clinic is important, and I think we've placed $1 million in the budget for that to assist people, because I have a number of outstanding requests on my desk, which I need to help, because there are so many people who need help and so on.
Discussions are ongoing to finalize Dominica's risk communication plan for public health emergencies of international significance. This was the main objective of a workshop which was held at the Prevost City Mall on Thursday. Director of Primary Healthcare Dr. Martin Christmas, in his address at the official opening, spoke of the critical health issues of concern for officials of the World Health Organization.
Radiation emergencies, food safety and chemical events, as well as zoonosis, which are diseases transmitted from animals to humans, such as the recent H1N1 crisis of 2009, to which over 1 million deaths were attributed. This H1N1 experience raised the profile of risk communication to new heights, and it showed that decisive national and international action, taking full advantage of modern communication tools, etc., could prevent diseases and by extension health incidents. Our experience in Dominica with this disease demonstrated the value of effective and transparent dialogue among those responsible for assessing, minimizing, and regulating risks, and those who may be affected by the outcomes of those risks. Despite our economic situation, in comparison to countries such as the US, Dominica experienced no death among the more than 1 million worldwide affected by the outbreak. The H1N1 crisis is also illustrated that communication with the public stakeholders within the health system, schools, and numerous others during a public health emergency is critical to managing any event of public health significance.
The goal of the risk communication plan is to ensure timely flow of information during all phases of healthcare crises. Dr. Christmas emphasized that an effective system must not only be installed well in advance, but must be well known by healthcare stakeholders.
Given the anticipated social disruption of a health crisis, communication activities must be well in place before the onset of the particular crisis, laying the groundwork for risk communication. These action plans need to deal with all the possible scenarios of health events in Dominica which could cause catastrophic damages on the island. Identification of objectives, target audiences, key messages, and communication channels and action plans must be collaboratively done. The plan belongs to all the key stakeholders of the event and crisis or hazard at hand and should be known by all. Each participant in this workshop represents a key stakeholder. And by that I mean you. You are key to this being successful. Each organization, which in their own way communicates, educates, and informs the population on the protection of lives and livelihood. When a crisis such as an outbreak or pandemic emerges, communication goals shift to focus on containment activities, ensuring that the public, in part via the media, is provided the right messages, supports, recommendations, and that all the identified personnel are informed and prepared and also ready to act.
According to the health official, any break in the communication chain could result in catastrophic results.
Failure to work with and properly inform the public results in the loss of public confidence and threatens the ability of not only the health sector but of economies and the government as a whole. The health sector has recognized that as part of maintaining trust, we must inform the public quickly of developments, include various sectors in planning, listen and react quickly to stakeholders to address rumors and diminish social turbulence.
The nation's Minister for Education and Human Resource Development recently clarified the reason behind government's policy of education for all. The minister was speaking at a ceremony where members of the diaspora gifted 8 students with scholarships to the Castle Bruce Secondary School. Honorable Seja spoke on the subject of universal secondary education, stating that the concept does not mean that students ought to underperform. The reason behind universal secondary education, he explained, is to allow for all students to receive the opportunity to earn a high school education.
There is a fallacy that has been going around Dominica that since the whole issue of universal secondary education was brought to the fore by the Dominica Labour Party government, that many people believe, well, every child now goes to secondary school, so you don't have to work hard. That could not be further from the truth. In fact, let me seek to correct this fallacy. The concept of universal secondary education seeks to ensure that every Dominican child, every child in Jalousie, every child in Plat Glou Glou or Senhouse is given an opportunity to attain secondary education.
On that note, the minister made a firm promise to persons present that their students will receive the opportunity to attend secondary school.
We will ensure that every child who completes high school successfully and enters, and the panel rep is here, State College, if they have challenges, we will pay the tuition for every child in Castle Bruce, Toronto, Deep and Petit Soufriere. This is a promise that we give to you, the people here.
That said, students were issued a stern warning to not waste the opportunities afforded them by their benefactors.
If people recognize that you are in need and assist you, then you must prove yourself worthy of what you are receiving. Let me end by saying to you, there are classic examples in Castle Bruce of people who had a questionable background, people who were looked upon, down upon because they were considered poor, people whom others gave up on and thought that they were not going to do anything or get anywhere. And they have reasoned against all of these challenges, and they are today success stories among you.
At that event, Parliamentary Representative for the Castle Bruce constituency, Honorable Johnson Drago, expressed his sincere gratitude to members of the diaspora and urged parents to ensure their children's success. And that's the English segment of the news. We now join McPherson St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non moins c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominica a continué et puis il faut supporter la compagnie Liat. Parole ça la sortie du Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, sinon Honorable Skerritt. Le gouvernement Dominique fait un lot d'investissement financier pour la compagnie là. Dominique déjà investe $3 millions en compagnie là. Il y a un investissement pour le ministre Skerritt fait par Wall qui c'est un bon l'économie pays là et puis citoyens et de plaisir gouvernement région là qui continue one support pour compagnie là. Gouvernement Venezuela aussi qui a montré l'intérêt invest en l'EAT shareholders company Salam déjà recevé un document pour considération ailleurs. En autre nouvelle, ministre santé tient un workshop jeudi qui mettez attention ça c'est comment manier information qu'a communiqué pendant un désastre. Plaisir discussion qu'a concerné ça discuté pendant workshop yon jour là. Monsieur Dave Loda, c'est spécialiste public ministre santé Dominique.
Aujourd'hui là ça nous a fait nous a continué en process nous commencé 3 mois qui passé là nous a développé un document pour aider Ministry Health garder compte management risque vous savez que nous avons trouvé qu'on a différents problèmes, communicable disease, un désastre, et ça a posé un lot problème pour un lot monde en pays là. Et si nous ne sommes pas préparés pour distraction comme ça, ça qui affecte nous plus. So, comme on a dit, le gouvernement Dominique, il y a un agreement avec International Health Regulation, et International Health Regulation qui a demandé comme pays qui est pays préparer pour tout débat risque santé. Aujourd'hui là ça nous avons notre différents départements police, nous avons notre custom, nous avons notre médias, différents monde qui fait management risque en santé. Et ça nous avons fait, nous avons regardé document là nous commencé déjà. Nous loin qu'à l'éveil, mais nous les garder, nous les tout le monde garder pour un de nous déterminer si nous avons fait bien, si une autre bité nous supposé mettre dedans pour assurer que Dominique ni un document qui est bien important comme que les risques viennent, nous que ça manager ça.
En la nouvelle, ministre communauté et puis employment qui a implémenté trainement pour les gens qui sont engagés en développement petit entreprise en Dominique. Il a collaboré et puis OES, Caribbean Export, ensemble et puis Université Texas, conduit le programme Salam. Trainement Salam qui a servi comme module à l'Amérique et puis comment il s'est implémenté ici. C'est l'executive directeur département petit entreprise Dominique Alexander Stevenson. Travail c'est pour avancer petit business en Dominique. Et aussi fait parole comment il voulait voir petit business en Dominique jouer un pas autant significant en développement pays là. Département petit entreprise tient un workshop un jour pour mon petit entreprise qui était facilité par Cliff Padres de l'Université Texas et puis Marissa Roberts de OES. Finalement, le ministère de l'Éducation a conduit trainement pour teachers qui en service là, ça a post-graduate training. Parole cela sorti du ministère de l'Éducation, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean.
Nous mettons l'eau attention en les développement pour teachers nous, pour ces teachers là qui travaillent à ces différentes écoles là. Et nous avons pas seulement un teacher en droit à le teachers college, mais après ça, qui ça, puisque l'éducation c'est quelque chose qui est dynamique. Il pas statique, il pas qu'à rester en seule place. Après teacher ça là taper on nous dit en associate ou bien bachelor's degree, il est nécessaire pour éduquer continuellement. Pour raison ça là, nous avons mis attention actuellement. Alors ça nous avons postgraduate, là nous avons ces teachers la chance là pour développer et aussi vraiment puisque nous avons si nous n'y pouvons ni bon étudiant à l'école, il est nécessaire pour nous bon teacher à fonctionner à l'école.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour Nouvelle Créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Au revoir.
Stay with us for a tip on managing your anger.
Scary. Everything just shaking and making big creaky noises.
Earthquakes, big and small, take place in the Caribbean at least 10 times a year.
The dishes rattling and falling and breaking. Then Vonnie started to scream.
All I could think to do was shout, "Get outside, get out!"
Earthquakes, hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. If an earthquake hits, what can you do? Get down. Get under an item of furniture like a table. Hold on and stay there until the quake passes. Find out lots more about earthquakes and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from your National Disaster Office and SIDERA.
We all know the dangers of losing our cool in trying situations. Often, exercising anger management is all it takes to diffuse a potentially volatile situation. Thinking before you speak is one of those methods. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to say something you'll later regret, so take a few moments to collect your thoughts before saying anything and allow others involved in the situation to do the same. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thank you for watching.